Hello everyone, and welcome back to Just Use Your Phone. My name is Sharon, and as at the time of recording this, thank you for 100 subscribers. So there was a long gap between my last video and this video because I'm showing you how to use the Canva app. The app is huge. There are so many things to do. It was very difficult to try and figure out how I was going to teach this, but I figured out a way. So there will be two videos that I will post. One will be how to use Canva and create some content from scratch on a blank page. And then the second one will be how to use Canva, but how to edit a template. The reason why I chose to do it this way is because A, the tutorial would have lasted forever, and B, because I wanted to be able to give a foundation by showing how to use all the elements and what you can do and how to edit things on a blank page. So without any interference or any distractions, you're just building it from the ground up. And then once you are familiar with everything, how everything works, where everything is placed, how to move things on the page, what to look for, then you can just go in and start editing templates. Now, Canva comes in two forms. There's the app on the phone and there's the computer. There's a website and then you can download it actually to use it on your desktop. So it comes in three ways, but there's a computer and you can use it on your phone. With this tutorial, a lot of the stuff is translatable. Like if you're following along on your phone or you're watching this video, you could use the website to actually follow along. Instead of just tapping on things, you would be using the mouse. But if you do want me to do a desktop version, I will do it because I do like Canva a lot. And a lot of these apps too come with websites. And I've seen in the comments, sometimes people ask like to see how what the website looks like. And I don't want to limit anybody. So I would definitely do a website version of this tutorial if you ask for it and you put it in the comments below. So if you don't know, Canva is an app where it's kind of like a graphic designing app, but it's accessible to everyone. Like you don't have to go and learn how to use Adobe Illustrator when you have Canva, or you don't have to learn how to use any complicated graphic website. Anybody could be a graphic designer or a creator if you know how to use Canva. There are two versions of Canva. There's the pro version and then there's the free version. They do have a team version, but I believe that that's for bigger corporations and you might actually have to speak with a representative to find out the price. But the free version is free and the account is free to make. And the pro version is 149 Canadian dollars per year. And I personally think it is well worth it. If you don't have the money for it, don't worry. There are a lot of things that you can access on this website for free, although a few things are limiting. But the majority of the things, if you're just trying to create simple posts for Instagram, even if you don't have a business and you just want to make your posts and your stories come alive and look nice, the free version is perfectly fine. If you like this content and you want me to keep it up, hit subscribe, hit like, share this video with anybody who you think might need it. This is going to be the first video that I'm uploading. So this is going to be us building content from scratch on Canva. I'll start off with showing you just around the app in this video, and then we'll get right into it. This is the first video. So watch this video first, and then watch the editing of the templates to see it all come together and to see it in action. So without further ado, without more talking, please enjoy this very long, but very informative tutorial. When you open up your Canva app, this is what it looks like. You have a hamburger menu at the top left corner. You have a search bar at the top. You have a bunch of suggestions on the top menu here. On this page, which is your For You page, you have suggestions from Canva of different content you might want to try making. You also have your recent designs over here. And again, it's just mostly templates on this page. And at the bottom here, you have another menu. So we're going to start here at the top left-hand corner. The menu, when it opens up, you have all of your options listed here. Right now we are on home. Then you have your Magic Studio, your projects, more templates, This is where you can work on your branding for like choosing fonts and colors and stuff. Then you have apps that you can integrate with. You have your starred folders, so the folders that are in your projects section. So the folders that are in here, you could star some of them and then they would appear here so you can get to them faster. You also have create a team, the trash where anything you delete goes to, and your settings. And then you have your get help at the bottom here. For the settings, we're not going to go into it. It's just like your private information. It's not actually for the app. It's more having to do with your subscription and things of that nature. Back to the main page. We have a search bar up here where you could search through your content or through Canvas. Again, there are a lot of templates for different things that you might want to create. Flyers, social media, videos, presentations. Everything is pretty much included in this. So when you tap on that bar, it shows you the templates, like some suggestions or your history of your of the searches that you've made. Also, it shows you your projects. So anything that you've created would be under this section, and you just toggle back and forth between these two to select what you want. So for example, if I wanted to make an ebook cover, I would just go up here and I would just type ebook. So you have the options that come up, ebook pages, and the ebook cover is over here. So I would just press that and it would take me to a page where it would show me all kinds of templates that are created by other creators on here for ebook covers, or you can create your own. You could also filter these. So we press filter, then you can choose the style, so corporate or professional, the theme, business or fashion, and features, subjects, all kinds of different things that you could choose to filter so you can find a template that you actually want to work with. So we're going to go back to the home page. To do that, we would just click on a home button right here and it takes us back to our home page. The menu that we have is up here. Currently, we are on the For You page, as I mentioned before. But if you scroll through, you see that you have many different options. If we click on videos, for example, it will take us to a page with many templates for different videos that you could create. You could choose from this page, or you could select See All to see all of the videos that are under the category that they are listed as. Since we are already home, and you can see because it's purple and it's highlighted, we would just click the For You to go back to the original page that we were on. On the For You page, it's again just a bunch of templates that you can choose from by simply scrolling down the page. Nothing too crazy. Now we're going to look at the menu that's down here. We are home, so that's the button that's for home. If we go into projects, this is what you see. If you scroll down, you'll see your folders and some of your designs, or you could access everything by folder, design, or image. Again, you can filter through your projects to find whatever project you're actually looking for that you have in your folders or your designs or your images. I have some private things in here, so I'm not going to go through everything, but this is where you would find it. The next thing on the menu is the plus button, which is your create button. You would press it and this is what pops up. You can do a search for any type of template or anything that you would want to create. You can do a custom size. So if the content you're trying to create needs to be a certain format for a specific site or for a specific project you have, you can choose what size it is, and then it gives you a bunch of suggestions. Also, because we are in an app and it is connected to your phone, it is definitely going to be pulling up pictures from your device. So if I wanted to do an Instagram story, I would just press that and it would take me to the design page for the Instagram story. Next, we're going to look at the templates. Again, we've seen that Canva has a plethora of templates. This is where you would access them as well without seeing your designs. And you can just scroll through and choose what you want to make and then choose a template for it. And finally, the last thing is the Magic Studio. That is like Canva's version of ChatGPT pretty much, where you could type in a few words, a few descriptive words, and Canva will come up or generate a presentation or a design or text for you. This is beyond the scope of this tutorial. And if you want to see this or you want to see me use this, just leave a comment down below and I can make a video going through Canva Magic Studio. So now we're just going to go back home. And that is the tour of the Canva app. We're going to be making an ebook cover from scratch. So I'm going to go into the search at the top. It's going to be under templates. And I already typed in ebook cover before. And I'm going to select create blank. Of course, you can go from anywhere in this app to get to the create blank, but I just wanted to go this way to show you. And this is what pops up. It's just a blank page for us to work on. What you just saw pop up was just the design over here. It just is this, but that's what pops up when you first choose to do a blank page. It's still kind of pretty much asking you, are you sure you want to just go by yourself? You can choose from all these different templates, but I just swiped it away because I want to go through all of the elements that are on this page before we get started. Okay, so before we get into the designing, let's take a look around the page. We have a hamburger menu here. Over here, we can see the back and forward buttons. They're not highlighted right now. They'll only be highlighted when we actually start to put things on the page. Here we have a more menu. Over here, we have the resizing option. The resizing option is only part of the Pro plan. So if you are using the basic plan, which still has crazy amounts of options and things at your disposal that you can use, if you want to make something one time and then resize it for like other social media platforms, you'll need the Pro account. Otherwise, you'll just have to remake the design for the other platforms. And here we have the download and upload button. And down here, this is where we have all of the elements and options of what we can put on our page. Before we jump into that, I just wanted to also point out that our menu is down here, as I said, and we can choose items and anything that we need from down there. But once we select an item or the page, you're going to see that a different menu with different options pops up. Take note of the purple border. Every time we select an item on the page, you're going to see that there will be a purple border around any of the items that we actually have selected. So as we accumulate more layers and more items, you're going to see that it's actually quite useful that they have something that distinguishes what we selected from the rest of the design. So now that we've covered that, let's get started. Okay, so the easiest way that I think to show you all of the features is to work in layers. So the first layer will be the background. There are two ways that you can create a background. You can choose some elements from the option over here, or you can swipe over to the far right, and there is an option to choose a background. For simplicity's sake, I'm just going to use the background option, as I will be showing you how to use the other options when I layer further anyways. So we're going to choose background, and this is what pops up. If you know exactly what you're looking for and what vibe you want to go for, then you would type in a few words in the search section and it will pull up what it has that's related to that. Or you could simply just choose a solid color or choose from the options that are below. So if you swipe up, you'll see all of the options that are available to you. For simplicity's sake, I'm just going to choose from the gradients section. If you want to see everything that they have that falls under this category, you just select See All, and this is everything that they have available under this tag. I will choose the lighter color so that everything else pops. So I'm just going to choose this one. When that happens, this is what it looks like. Menus will pop up. These are two different menus, and it just gives you more options of what you want to do. Again, because this is very simple, I'm not going to do too much, but I do want to show you on this menu down below here. If I want the darker part, this part to be at the bottom here, I could just go through and there's an option for me to flip. So I will just press flip, and then this will come up and it will ask me if I want to flip it horizontally or if I want to flip it vertically. And I want to flip it vertically. So this is the result. If I flip it vertically again, this is how it was before, and then flip vertical, and this is how I want it to be. Whenever you're done, you just press the little X button here to get back to the original menu that I found it on. And we want to get back to our original menu. So we're going to press the X button here. So this is our first layer of our project. For the next layer, we want to go into our elements section. The reason we're not going into the design section, and I will show you, is when you hit design, it gives you templates and styles. We're not going to be looking at that right now. In another video, I'll show you how to edit templates and how to do more complex things. But for the sake of it being super beginner, I just want to show you how everything looks and how everything reacts together on the page from scratch. So we're going to be going to elements. When we open our elements, it again looks just like the backgrounds, right? You have a search bar where you can search elements. So if you know exactly what you're looking for, or if you have an idea of what you're looking for your project, you would simply search it. Everything that has been tagged with the keyword that you search for will show up. When I click on the search elements search bar, this is what I would get anyways. It gives suggestions for categories and things that I've used recently. So let's say I want to search up tree. Everything that's been tagged with tree will come up. So all the graphics of trees, all the pictures of trees, all the videos, all the frames, which we'll get into after, and the audios will be given to me. But let's go back to our main area. So here we have suggestions of items which I assume are popular items that are searched for or used on Canva. We have the recently used, we have shapes, we have graphics, stickers, photos, videos. We have a lot of things. And if you're not sure what the difference is, I will go through not every single thing, but the elements that I choose to use today, I will try to compare them to their counterparts so I could show you what the difference is between the two. So what I actually want to look for are flowers. And then this is what pops up. I have graphics, flowers, frames, photos, not flowers, frames, etc. Now I'm going to use graphics for this portion of it. The main difference between graphics and photos is, well, the graphics also, they look more like they're drawn or cartoonish, and photos are actual pictures. Also, the way you can edit them, the options that you have to edit graphics versus photos are very different. I will use a photo later on. Right now, we're going to be looking at graphics. Let's go to See All, and it will show us everything. So these are the options that I have. I think that I'm going to choose this. And now you can see the purple border, which means that this is the element that is selected at this moment. So that's important to know also because your menu down here is for the selected item. So all the options and anything that you do down here is going to affect only this graphic of the flowers. Now we have options over here. This is a new option that you didn't see before. It just means duplicate. So when I press it, it just duplicates the little bouquet of flowers that I already have on my page. To move these around, you would just touch it with your finger and drag it along the page. As you see me dragging, you're probably seeing these little pink lines. They're just borders. This is just the border of the page. The other smaller line, when I go into the center, is just telling me that the item is aligned down the center of the page. If I move it down more, you see the other line going horizontally. It's just saying that I'm dead center of the page. So I'm just going to separate these out. Now I want to show you these little circles at the corners of the purple outline are the adjusters. You would just simply hold it, drag it up to make your graphic larger, or shrink it down to make it smaller. So you're pulling in, I'm pulling to the right and up to make it bigger, and I'm pushing to the left and down to make it smaller. There's also this button with the two arrows in a circle. That is just if you want to rotate. So I would just hold it down with my finger and drag my finger around in a circle to rotate it any way that I want to have it. If I wanted to do it to the other items that are on the page, I need to tap the item to make sure that it is selected, and I can see that it's been selected because it is purple around it. And I can just move it around, make it larger, make it smaller, but just make sure that the item you actually want to adjust has been selected. Because if it's not selected, I'm touching the other items, I'm trying to drag them and do things, and nothing is happening. So you have to make sure that the item you want to move has been selected by just tapping on that item. If I wanted to put this item in this corner but have it look like this flower, what I would do, as we did before, is in my menu over here, I would slide over to where it says flip, and I would press flip, and I'd want to flip it horizontally this time, and then that would just flip it horizontally. If I do it again, flip horizontally. Vertically would just make it go upside down, but horizontally would give it the effect that I want. And then we would just press the X button at the bottom, and now I have a brand new horizontally flipped image graphic. And I could stick it in the corner down here to kind of match my other corner. Let's do that again, but with this one, I'm selecting the top smaller one. Let me just take one of these points, drag it out to make it a bit larger, and adjust it. I can flip it over by adjusting it this way instead of going to the flip option, and I can put it in this corner like that. I need another one like this, so I would hit duplicate, which would duplicate it and select it. And oh, it's not matching, so I would go down to my options, go to flip, and then this time I would flip it horizontally again, press the X because I'm done, adjust it to how I would want to have it, and then stick it in the corner. So now we have two layers. Sorry about that. Now we have the two layers because something happened and I had to redo it, and I forgot about the gradient background that we had. So now that we have both of our layers, I do want to fix the background layer because it is a little dark. So now you can see with the purple that the background has been selected, or the entire page has been selected. And my menu at the bottom here, you would just scroll all the way to where you see transparency. You would press on that, and with this little ball over here, or you can choose the number if you know what number you would want it to be, but I would just drag it until I like it. So maybe we'll do 20. So we can still see that the background is there, but it's not overpowering the other layers. Let's just put it a little bit less, so 16. And then when we're done, we just press the X button. And now we have 2 layers of design. For the next layer, I would like to use a photo. So we're going to go down to where it shows our elements at the bottom here, and we're going to choose a photo. I wanted to choose this photo of recently used, but I'm going to scroll a bit and show you that this is the photo area, and you can click on see all, and it will show you the trending photos and all of the photos that you can use. But I want to use this one for a specific reason, obviously. I'm going to press it, and this is what it looks like on the page. Now we can see we have an extra menu up here. The menu for the selected item is here. Which item has been selected, the photo, and we know that because of the purple background. But there's an addition, in addition to these little points where we can just pinch, not pinch, but drag it to make it bigger and drag it in to make it smaller. We actually have another option, and it's these little rectangular points that allow us to crop the photo or make it larger. We can make it larger and take up the page like this. We can make it larger. We can make it smaller. This one doesn't really squish down. It just cuts her face off. So we're not going to do that. But these are the extra options that we have. Okay, so for this cover, I would like her to take up as much room as possible. Yes, like this. I think this would be great. But we have a problem because now we can't see our other layers. With photos, what you can do is remove the background. So in our menu at the bottom down here, with our photo selected, of course, we would go to effects down here. We would press effects, and it would show us the effects that we can use. This is a part of the Magic Studio. I know I said it was beyond the scope, but I do want to show this one thing, and it is the BG remover, the background remover. When I press the background remover, which is a pro tool, it removes the background completely. And then I'm done. I press the X, and we're back, and we can see our other layers for the most part. If you're still not satisfied and you want to see the other layers, so if you want to see these flowers down here more and you want them to be on top of her, what we can do is we select our image. Just want to have her selected, and in this menu down here, we would slide it until it goes to position. You would press position, and these would be your options, backward or to the back. We don't want to put her all the way to the back. I would just want to hit backward until I'm satisfied. So that one, what it did was it brought these flowers to the front, because these are the last flowers that we edited. Press backward again. If we press backward again, nothing has happened, but that's because these flowers are not in our way. Backward again would be these flowers, which we did before we did these flowers, sorry. And then backward again is when we would be behind the original flowers that we placed. So now I'm satisfied with where her position is on the page. I'm just going to hit the X down here, and it's going to bring it back up. And this is what my cover looks like so far. This is what it actually looks like. I just made an adjustment, but now we have 3 layers on the page. We're making good timing here. I do want to show one more way that you can add images to the page, because if you don't have Pro and you're just using the free version and you want to add an image to the page, you should be able to do that. You can't remove the background, but I can just show you how to add an image to the page. So we're going to go down to our elements, and it's going to show up the same thing that we just did. You could add an image directly to the page and just keep the background, but if you want it to look cleaner, or if you want to have edges, then you would search for a frame. Now you're going to see two options, frames and grids. And the difference between a frame and a grid is that the grid actually, when you press it, it takes up the whole page. So everything that you had there before is gone. You have this grid, and you could add a photo to it. Let's find a photo. I would just select this photo and touch it and drag. When you touch the photo and you drag it, after it's been placed on the grid, it will stretch out and become a part of the grid. I'm just going to hit back because I didn't want to do that. We're going to go back to elements, and we're going to choose a frame. So the frame is not going to take up the whole page. So you have options from these different kinds of frames. We're going to go to see all, and you have creative frames and different things going on. Let's try and use this frame right here. And you see it's not taking up the whole page. You can actually adjust it and do more things. So if I slide it over to the corner, I could like drag it out to cover up as much of the page as I want to cover up. I can slide it over so it's only covering a small portion of the page, or half of the page even. Once my frame is on the page, I would then go back to the elements section and choose a photo. Over here, we'll go with the grapes again, or whatever these were. And again, it shows up in the middle of the page as a photo, but if I touch the photo, it's selected. So if I touch the photo and move it, it will fit the frame. So let's try that on a smaller scale with a different frame. Go back, back, back. I can just delete it. Elements. Let's get a frame. So I just choose a frame and it ends up on my page. To make sure that you're not selecting this so that the menu can change down here, there are two ways. Again, you could press the X down here and it will just automatically unselect it, or you could just touch any side of the page here and it will unselect it as well. So we're going to go back into our elements to find a photo. What should we look for a photo of? Oh gosh. All right, let's choose these flowers. And you see that the photo is bigger than the frame, but if I touch it and I put it into the frame, it is in there. And I can just drag it up here. I can make it smaller. I can rotate it, still make it smaller, and I can leave it there. But that's just how we use the frames. I'm going to remove that because it's not nice. When I press the delete button, hold on, let me do that again. If I press the delete or the trash button, this is what pops up, and you actually have an option of just deleting the image or deleting the entire frame. So when you delete the image, the frame is still there. And if I press delete here, it will just delete the frame because there's nothing else to delete except for the frame. Okay, so we have our layers. It's looking good. What else can we do? Let's refer to our menu. Before we add the text, I do want to show you that there is a draw tool. When you press it, this is what pops up, and these are your options. You have a thicker tipped pen, pointier tip. You have your eraser and your marker. I'm going to go for the thinner tipped pen, and I'm going to change the color because I don't want it to be blue. I want it to complement what I already have here. So I'm going to choose the blue, and it's going to recommend me colors based on what's already in use in the actual project. So these are the types of purples that are being used, and there's a bit of green because of the stem of the flowers, but you can't see. But I'm just going to choose this dark purple. I'm done here. I'm going to press the X button, and now I can draw. So what I wanted to do was just outline these flowers. Maybe I'm not that great at this. This would work better on a desktop, but just want you to know that you have that option where you can draw, or you can make little marks on the actual piece of content that you're creating. If you don't like that, then you just get the eraser and, oops, you have to choose white for the eraser, I guess. Oh no, I just didn't have it selected properly. Sorry. Yes, when you choose the eraser, you should be able to erase everything that you did. And that's all for the drawing that I'm going to be doing. So back, our menu is still down here. I'm just going to swipe it back to the beginning, and down here you see where it says text. That is where we're going. When we press text, this is what pops up. Just ignore this section for the brand kit. It's beyond the scope of what I'm showing you. You can create your own brand kit, and you can choose your colors and your fonts, but we're not doing that. They give you what you recently used and font combinations. The font combinations are pretty cool and they're very nice. A lot of them are pro, as you can see with the pro and the crown, but there are some that are not. So these ones are not pro, so you can use them. I do like this one a lot, and it's not pro, so you can use it. So we're going to use the glow font. And then when I select it, it appears on the page. Again, we have proof showing that it is selected. We have our little adjusting buttons that we can use. We have our trash as we usually do, our copy as we usually do. And now we have an additional option, which is the magic tool, which is beyond the scope, but you can use it to generate text. So I can select this and drag it down as far as I can, slide it to center it, and then tap it. When you tap it, you should be able to edit the text within it. So I typed some text in, and as you can see, it is huge. So you would just have to tap it, touch the words, bring it so that you can see and access the adjustment options. And I would just drag it in to make it smaller and to just adjust it to how you would want it to fit on the page. And I would just adjust it on the page, center it. And do I like it there? Yes, I do. Actually, I wanted it at the top. Okay, so now that we have our title and our text, we can edit. These are the options that we have. We can choose the font. If we don't like it, we change our mind, we can just change it. The size, the color, the text styles. So we're going to choose, if I choose font, just to show you, it's going to show all of the fonts that they have, which is quite a few. And there are a lot of them, as I said, that are free. Some of them are pro, and you'll know that because of the little crown. And you can choose any of the fonts. I'm going to leave that font as it is. I do want to change the color because it's lavender and love, so it should definitely be more of a purple. So I selected color over here. I changed it. Again, as I mentioned before, because of the image that we used, it's pulling from the image and the background that we used and giving us colors that would match that style. So if we chose something like this, so it pops and stands out, we can play around with the colors more. So what I just did there also was I chose this color, and inside you see the little filter button. If you press it, you can actually choose by just sliding it around what kind of purple you would want, or any color that you're choosing. So I think I'm going to choose this and just leave it like that. And I like the look of that text. Let's add some more text to it so that we can play around with it some more. So to come out of the selection, we will press that X, and it'll bring us back to our main menu. We choose text. We're not going to use this. This time, we're going to add a text box. So we're just going to be adding text from scratch. So add a text box, and it tells us your paragraph text. Let's just put our name. We just delete everything that's here. Then we can write, just use your phone. There's a T at the bottom here, I don't know why. And that will be the author name that we can drag down to the center. We can make it smaller. And we can choose a different font. So let's click on fonts, making sure that it's selected. One thing I want to point out is when you select a different text font, this will pop up and it will show you that you can change all the text into this font if you wanted to. I would like to have the two different fonts, so I'm not going to choose change all, but you do have that option. Even with the colors, also if you change a color or something, this option will pop up and allow you to change the color of everything to that color that you have selected. So now I've chosen my font. We're going to press X to go back to our main page. This is what it looks like. I'm loving it. Let's try the size of the font. So in addition to just pulling these circles and these lines to adjust the size of your font, a much easier way, especially when you're using your phone, is to just choose font size and play with it that way. Because sometimes also when you want to get really small, you see, watch this option disappear, the smaller the font gets. So that's one way that you can adjust the font size. For the text styles, it's just more of like if it's a header or a subheading, or if it's the body of the text. For now, it's just the body. It's been selected, so we don't need to do anything there. The color I'm okay with. If I wanted to format and do spacing, I would choose these two, one of these two options, but there's no reason to do spacing. For formatting, it's just as if you were using Word. You can center it, you can move it to the side, but because it's already centered and it's one line, it's not really going to show any effect when I select it. Something that I think is pretty cool, which wouldn't really translate on an ebook cover, but you could use it for Instagram stories or any type of platform that supports video, is that you can animate any of these items to make them kind of like slide in or appear, kind of like a slideshow. So I do want to show you how that's done. So I'm going to select an item on the page. It's going to be our girl. At the bottom here in the menu, we can slide until we hit animate. And then these are our animate options. We can choose her to come into the image, which I think is pretty cool. And we just have a whole bunch of different options to make this image come alive. So let's choose Rise, Tumble. I feel like Tumble is good. Let's choose Tumble, and then I'm going to show you how to play it and see how it works. So I've chosen it. We're going to hit X, and now we're out. At the top here, now you see that I have a new option. Is the play button, no longer the download button, but the play button. When I press that button, it's just going to show the animation that I created. So if I press play, if you want to see it again, and that's pretty cool. If I wanted to remove or change the animation, the option in the menu called Animate is gone. It's just going to be the option that you chose. We chose Tumble, and so there it is. Now that I think we are done, there are just a few other things that I think would be beneficial for you to see that I just didn't add to this ebook page. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go into our elements again. We're going to press X on the search, and we're going to choose a shape. I'm going to choose a square. What it does is it zooms in because it automatically assumes that I want to type something in there, and I don't, so I'm just going to zoom out. To zoom out, you would just pinch the screen, pinch in to zoom out, and push out, like separate your fingers to zoom in. So again, we have our item selected. We have our little knobs to shrink and flatten and do all those things. I can show you now that you can flatten it or you could extend it. What I want to do is I'm going to cover the whole entire page with this. Then I'm going to go back down to the menu over here, and I'm going to choose a transparency, and I'm going to make it completely transparent. What you could do if you want also is leave a bit of it if you want to give it almost like a kind of different effect, so you can see through it still, but it kind of makes everything softer and come together. Then I'm done, and I press the X. Now what we've done actually is pretty much sealed all the other layers in using this square that we have expanded to the whole page. There are other ways to lock things in place, which I will show you, but I did feel like this would be one of the best elements to use to kind of show you the things that I didn't get to cover. So now that we have so many layers and that we've practically sealed in everything with our outer layer, how do we know what we've selected? The whole page seems to be selected, as you can see here. It does give it away a little bit because we see these little things, but if you're not sure, how could you find out what you are actually on right now? Well, you would have to go down to the bottom menu here and swipe until you get to where you see it says layers. When you press layers, this is where it will show you which layer you're at. So we are on the last layer that we added. Even though it's not overlapping the font, this is the layer that we are actually at. If you want to go to a different layer, so let's say we want to go to the flowers, what we would do is we would just hit select, and then we would choose which layer we want to go to. So the flowers, and then make sure only one is selected because you can select multiple ones, but we're selecting the flower, and then it will take us to that layer. When we press done and we press the X button, it is selected. But I'm going to go and do it again. Layers, and I'm on the layer that I want to be on. So I'm on the layer that we just added because we just verified that. And now in this menu, what I want to do is I want to go to Style. When I press Style, it's going to show me that I have no border, but I can add a border. So I'm going to choose a straight line border. Then you can choose the border weight and the rounding of the corners. It can make it a thick border. And as I'm dragging this down here, you should look over here also, because you can see it's getting thicker and thicker, the border. I think that this is a good border to have. And I do want to round the corners a little bit. Again, as I'm dragging this, you can look at the corners. You will see them rounding. But I don't want to do that round. I don't want any rounding, just one maybe. And this is what we have. We're done. So we press the X. And this is what it looks like. Now, instead of having style only, we see something's been added. The border color, so we can change the color. I want it to be black, but it's not really looking that dark, which is fine. The next thing that I want to do is go down to this menu, still have the background select, the border and the square selected. I want to go to my position because I don't want to use this to seal everything in. I just want it to give it that extra purple effect. So going to position, and I'm going to put it, I don't want to put it all the way to back. If I put it all the way to back, this is what it's going to look like. I want to do forward 1. Or just to back. Actually, I want it to back. Yes, it looks nicer this way to me. Then I'm going to put the X. And this is what it will look like. Now that we pushed it to the back, there's nothing really holding everything together, and mistakes could be made. You can accidentally select something and move it. And if you're working on something that's very delicate, that could completely throw you off. So what we're going to do is, at our bottom menu, we have whatever selected. It's not really important as long as something is selected. We're going to go to More. When we press More, we have the option here to select multiple. When we press that, we can start tapping around on our page, and it's going to be selecting multiple items, as you can see. Once we're done, we're going to just press the X, and everything is selected. Now, if you noticed, we have our little menu that popped up. We have our trash, we have our copy, we even have our magic. We have a new option, and that is to group. So we're going to just group everything together so it's just one big piece. Group. And now if I select it, I can ungroup it, but it mostly moves, the whole thing is moving as one because I've grouped it together. But now we run the risk of moving everything and messing it up, as I almost just did. So again, with anything selected, we're going to go to More once more. And we're going to use this menu by sliding it. We can hit Lock, and that will lock the items in place. So I can't even select them. Everything has been locked, and I can't move anything around. So everything is protected and it is in place. To unlock it, you would just press the unlock button and it would unlock it for you. A few more things. If you press the 3 buttons up here, you just have a place where you can edit the name. The information is there. You can create new design, import files. You just have a bunch of different items and options at your disposal here. If you want to choose the hamburger menu up here, it just gives you a way to create a new design, go home, and then it has, you can go to your other designs or your folders from this area as well. The last thing to do is to download or upload this masterpiece that we've just created. So it will be in the corner up here. When I press the upload button, I have these options that pop up. I can download it, share the link. I can have it printed and sent to me. And I have these other options, which again, we're not going to be using. We're just going to be downloading this for today. And I hit download, and this menu pops up as well. Be aware all the time for little crowns, because that means that it is a pro feature. So if you want to change the quality of the MP4 video, because remember we added some movement, then that is a pro option. You can select from the drop down here how you want to receive your download. I'm going to do PDF print because I'm not going to be using it with the movement. That was just for show. Then a few little more options come, and then a little warning that it's not going to play for me because I'm choosing it to be a PDF, which is fine. And then you would just hit download. And then it would just go like this. That's to show that it's downloading. You don't want to close this window while it's downloading. You're going to wait for it to be finished. And now that it's done, it just pops up over here with the options of what you want to do with your PDF. You could send it to people, or you can share it this way and that way if you want. And that is how to create an ebook cover from scratch on Canva on your phone. I will see you in the outro. Okay, so now you know how to build an ebook cover from scratch. So you could apply this to any other design. Just use the layers, use everything that I showed you, and you are well on your way. Again, if you like this content, please subscribe. It really helps the channel. You can hit like, share this with anybody who you think needs to learn how to use Canva, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.